So good to be here now, to crawl on top of spinning rock. Hey, what's going on? This is the Leo Mystic. Welcome to the Inner Peace Forecast for the 8th of April until the 14th of April. This is where we look at what's going on in the heavens and what's the impact going to be on the earth. What are the actions that we can take to be more conscious, a conscious leader? If you tune in and love to tune into this channel, I would appreciate to subscribe to this YouTube channel. So let's look at what is going on. The most important day for this week is going to be Wednesday, the 10th of April. Why? Because we got a shit ton of things going on. We got, first and foremost, Venus coming on Neptune, exactly at that particular moment, squaring to Venus. Like, really, 17 degrees, the moon comes on 17 degrees Gemini, and then we got Venus coming on Neptune, 17 degrees, at that exact same moment. Whilst at the same time, Sun conjuncts Saturn. Not too much later, like a couple of hours later. Sun in Aries squaring Saturn in Capricorn. We're going to talk about that. And we got, a couple of hours later, Jupiter freaking retrograde. Okay? That's what I'm going to start with. Jupiter retrograde on the 10th of April. You got 2 more days to explore, to, send out your hopes and future wishes into the universe, to explore new belief systems, any new terrains that you still want to push a little bit more. It is still fucking possible. But on the 10th of April, the gates are closing. No more people can enter. Jupiter, Zeus, God is saying, stop, hold, this is not happening. So no more expansion. And this is where it's going retrograde all the way until the 11th of August, which is going to be 14 degrees of Jupiter. Now, where was 14 degrees Jupiter? It was on the 14th of January. So this means the past pretty much 3 months, right? January, February, March, April. That's 4. 4 months of exploring, of you having optimism, of you having full hope, of exploring new belief system territories, new things you've learned, new masters that came on your path. This is all about reviewing. Jupiter retrograde is about reflecting, it's about reviewing, and that is going to come on a square with Mercury in Pisces. And I think Mercury in Pisces is where we're going to have to look at. It's still in shadow, it's still reflecting on the retrograde cycle that we had. And so, but Mars is in Gemini, which is rough investigation, hard opinions, speaking what is on your mind without even thinking. With Mars energy, we got Sun in Aries. This is doing, this is acting, be courageously you, right? But Mercury's in freaking Pisces. And what that is, Mercury tries to investigate. Mercury tries to explore. Mercury is the mind, the investigation. With Mars and Gemini, it's like, whew, it goes. This is like the Nipsey Hussle murder. May he rest in peace, because I didn't know him too much, like his work, but I do know, if you are supported by Gary Vee, and if you are in cooperation with like anything that is positivity, he just radiated a lot of positivity. He was apparently cooperating with a naturopath in a naturopathic documentary, and so now he got murdered. So this is like the journalist, Gemini, journalism, investigation, Mars, exploring, This is like, okay, I'm looking for truth here, and I don't even fucking care who is going to stop me. Mars, that journalist, that courageous journalist that is exploring what is truth here, what are the facts, squaring Saturn. Saturn is the police officer, or I mean, well, maybe the police officer or the boss from whatever the daily news, and is saying, hold on here, like that boss knows a bit more, and he's like maybe involved in some scam or whatever, and like he's trying to hold that reporter that he sees that is onto something. That's Saturn square Mars in Gemini. It's like, no more further here, man. You don't go any further. Like, and he tries to manipulate the investigation. And so Mars in Gemini and Sun in Aries is saying, keep going. Do it any fucking way. You're on the right track, especially Mercury in Pisces. And Mercury in Pisces, on the other hand, when we leave the investigation behind, is all about surrender. It doesn't need to constantly figure things out. If it is about a higher truth, which is Mercury squaring Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius, anything that you've learned these past 4 months, you don't need to figure it out mentally. What is truth for you? North Node in Cancer. What is what is truth for you? It doesn't need to know it mentally. It knows it intuitively. And especially, and that's where this Venus on Neptune is so important. Venus is love, earthly love. Neptune is unconditional love. This is true love, feeling harmonious with everyone and everything around us. From a female yin in energy, go within. Venus on Neptune in Pisces is go deep within, explore deep, feminine, loving energy. Jupiter retrograde saying, stop exploring, go within, and tune in to the field that you've explored. Saturn square or sec.Quadrate, Saturn is saying, hold on, stop exploring, but do, act. Sun square Saturn is saying, stop, put in the fucking work, do, act courageously. No more exploring, no more going without. You know what's within. Intuitively tune in and say, okay, this is it. I know. If we go back to that example of the investigation, this could be like, no need to go talk to every single person, waste time. If you know the connection, if you intuitively, there's always some hints that can pop up, and you're like, oh, this seems very interesting. Follow that gut instinct, follow that intuition. Go and explore that. This is for a higher truth. And if we take this to your purpose, to you trying to find your path, well, we kind of had that. By now you should know, by doing the work, what it is. It's there. But now it's saying no longer exploring that. You need to do now. You need to implement. And that, what I have communicated you, these messages about your purpose, these messages about what your truth is, your heart is, it's now about time to go out and speak about it. Speak your truth, but not your truth. Mercury square Jupiter. Not your truth. The truth. The truth about universal law of cause and effect, of relativity, of all is one. The truth of there is not a God in the sky, but God is us, is we, is me, is you. We are all one. And as Carolyn Mees likes to say, we're all one pea soup. And when you understand that you are part of that soup, that you are the soup, and that everyone in that soup is part of that soup, you are not going to intoxicate that soup, because what you do to yourself, what you do to others is what you do to yourself. And so this is where you understand that whatever you think, whatever you say, has a cause and effect. It's karma. Whatever you say to others is what you say to yourself. Whatever anger you project into the world is the attack that you will get back. So this is where you understand that you're all part of one same freaking soup, and that you take care of that, and that you spread that truth, that you bring clarity to others. This is the path of the mystic. Everything that's happening right now, Venus on Neptune, Mercury square Jupiter, Mars square into Saturn. Everything is related to that Mercury and Piscean energy up in the skies, and that Piscean energy is truth. That Piscean energy is God. That Piscean energy is source, interconnection, vibration, sound, prayer. True prayer happens in the head, and it's always about your heart knowing what is truth. And that any thought that is damaging is not unconditional love. Any thought that is damaging is contaminating the soup. And that Mars in Gemini is a spiritual warrior, because it is squaring over, well, not Mars in Gemini, but that moon in Gemini is squaring over to that Piscean energy, and it's like it feels a duty to go out and speak about that spiritual truth. No more bullshit. This is where we challenge the status quo. This is where we challenge it. Mars Gemini connection to that Mercury that is, it is fucking confused. This is, you know, if this is not about spirituality, if this is not about truth, universal law, if this is not with compassion and unconditional love, this is frustration, this is confusion, this is identifying with your emotions, this is identifying with you being God, Mercury sextiling Pluto, Saturn, you believing that you figured it all out, that you're in control. That's what it's going to be like. And that can feel, that causes frustration and fear, because Mars and Gemini try to explore and try to figure it out mentally, but Mercury in Pisces is saying, I don't fucking know. Like there's so many options. It's just fog, and I get frustrated because Mars just keeps going and keeps exploring, keeps doing, and Mercury, the head, is like fuck. And then especially to the square to Saturn and to Jupiter, it's like more. No, you know what? I actually don't know enough. But Mercury in Pisces saying, surrender. You don't need to know why things happen as they do. You don't need to have any expectations and no judgments. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to understand what this interconnection of all beings and things mean at the core. It just fucking is. That's what the Uranus and Taurus is. It's just reshaping that new Earth, and it's asking us to just be okay with it. And that's fucking, with Mars and Gemini, with a society that is all about facts and about science, and that needs to have everything proved. There's just some things that you can't figure out, man. Like, why we exist and like the big questions, you can't figure that out. You don't need to know. It's all being taken care of for you. You don't need to figure that out. You don't need to. And especially when that moon is going to come on the north node, squaring over to the sun in Aries. This is saying whatever, this is egoistic, but this is asking you to step up for yourself. What gives me comfort? What is my home? This is no time to think about just others, but first take care of yourself. And then, when you have known truth, this is a time to go within. And if whatever we've explored over these past 4 months, take a look back, take inventory, intuitively feel, no, maybe paint, maybe, again, I know I've said it like a couple of, this is like the third, fourth week, but we've had so much Piscean energy, man. This is all artistic, loving energy, harmony. This is going with the flow. It just is. But now we have a spiritual warrior kind of energy where you cannot longer deny that truth. Mars in Gemini is actually, it's like, it's time to get real about what you know. Sun in Aries, Chiron in Aries, knows what it has to do. It's trying to understand which part of us is wounded so that it can be courageous and be a warrior for the evolution of this planet and of all human beings and living things to evolve. It needs to experience the wound first. But it's time for you to be freaking real. And to stop the bullshit of getting frustrated and angry because they fucking took your parking spot, like seriously, or which is what Mars and Gemini can all be. It's just people getting angry because of no reason, because they just think and they are conditioned. It's like conditioning. Our mind is conditioned. This is fucking real talk here. And if you're watching this, it is time to be true and to have no more attachment to the old and to challenge the freaking status quo, because we are conditioned and conditioned to fight, conditioned to be in war, conditioned to be top-down communication, but it's reshape it. Reshape it. Be that spiritual warrior and just challenge any authority that's there. Doesn't matter, man. And it doesn't have to be with hate or anger. No, that's the whole thing with Venus on Neptune. It understands that love rules over hate. That love rules. True unconditional love rules over freaking masculine force energy. That's it. So, my question to you right there, everyone who's watching, down here, Instagram, what do you know to be true and that you have to act upon? Something that you've always wanted to do but never dared to do. It is fucking time to speak up and gather together, Uranus and Taurus, gather the community to change this earth and go ahead and do. And this is the path of the mystic. This is the path of spiritual warrior, the whatever, like the Rainbow Warriors, whatever that is, if that's a myth or not, I don't care. It is a symbol of some things that have always been present. And that's the fact that if we as human beings unite, if we as human beings connect in love, then we can trump any freaking hate in this world. And so now it is time to act and do. And what spiritual cause, what spiritual truth do you know? Prayer, divine love, divine unity, the 7 or the 12 universal laws. Go look it up, explore anything that has to do with truth, spiritual truth, and everything that you've explored the past 4 months. What feels right? And implement that. And go out and seek your community. Take everyone with and get it going before it is too late. Thank you so much. This was the Leo Mystic, and see you next Monday for the next forecast. And if you want to watch a daily forecast, you can go to Instagram at the Leo Mystic, daily forecast on Instagram. Check it out to be a conscious leader. Much love, the Leo Mystic. Peace.
Daily astrological
Forecast.